Okay, so in our warm-up here, we want to force the volumes to equal. That's what equivalent is. We want to force them to equal. And on Friday, we learned about pyramids, and we learned with the water that it takes 3 pyramids to fill a prism when they have the same base and the same height. Now, that's not what this case is up here. They don't have the same base and the same height, but we do know that the volume formula for a pyramid is base times height divided by 3, or 1/3 base times height. And the volume formula for this prism is just base times height. So now we're going to plug in every single thing that we know. Let's work with the prism first. In the prism, do we know what capital B is? Now notice, it is not sitting on its base. See where H is? This is the height. So be careful. If that's the height, that forces this to be the base. And it did give us a hint that it is a square base. So that's easy. The capital B for the prism is 2 times 2. It's 4. So capital B means area of the base. The area of that square base is 4. Volume. So volume for the pyramid. The base for the pyramid is, it looks like 4 by 4. 16. And the height of the pyramid is 9. That's nice. We didn't have to calculate the slant height or anything like that. So the volume of the pyramid is 48. So we want to force the volume of the pyramid to equal the volume of the prism. Who got that the height was 12 before I started working it? Here are the pyramid's homework answers. It wasn't that long of a homework. That doesn't mean it was easy, but it wasn't very long of a homework. On my homework help, I've already worked 3, 9, 10, and 8. 3, 9, 8, and 10. So I've already done most of this homework on the homework help, so I'm not going to record myself working any of those problems. You need to watch the homework help if you need any of those. Do you want me to work anything other than 3, 8, 9, 10? So before we do our activity that we're going to do today, I want to talk about cross sections real quick. A cross section is when you take a 3D figure and you slice it. That's not the technical term, but you cut through it like with a plane, and it's the 2D shape that would be formed. Okay? Yes, you can, Quan. So let's get that a little bit larger. So when you cut through a shape, if you're parallel to the base, then the cross section is just going to be the base. So in this first example, that cross section is a square or a rectangle because we don't know if the sides are congruent. In the second one, the cross section would be a triangle because the base of that pyramid is a triangle. And in this cylinder, we have, if you're parallel to the base, it would be a circle. If you are parallel to the lateral edge, it would be a rectangle because the lateral, here, let me get it. Because the lateral face of a cylinder is a rectangle. We haven't done cylinders yet, but when you look at the net, it is a rectangle. So, let's look at some more. Look at each one of these and go ahead and decide what you think, what 2D shape would be formed if I slice through this shape with the plane shown in the picture. I'll give you a few minutes to think about those. Okay, Rishi, what would you get for A? A would be a circle, very good, because the base of a cone is a circle. Alexandria, what about B? Very good, B would be a triangle because that's a square or a rectangular pyramid, but we're slicing laterally, and so it's going to be equivalent to whatever the lateral face is. The lateral faces are triangles. Very good. C, we have Ariana. Ariana, did you get C? Here's my cone. We're slicing through the cone vertically or straight up and down. What shape are we going to get? Oh, triangle. Very good. Okay, D. Lars. Square, or to play it safe, we would say rectangle, right? Because did anyone tell us that D had a square base? Not so much. Chloe, E. Triangle, very good. And Ganesh, your F. E was triangle. So far B was triangle, C was triangle, E was triangle. What's F going to be? Very good. Also a triangle. Okay, next I want to show you a really cool website. So this is a pretty cool app, website, where you can take a shape like, let's go simple, let's do a cylinder, and you can move your slice around to see what different shapes could result. So what are the shapes that we could get when a plane intersects a cylinder? What are some shapes that we could get? Well, the obvious ones are circle and rectangle, right? But there's more than that. We could get, watch, do you see the slice? We could get an oval. See how that's more of an oval? We could get our square or rectangle. We could get almost like a trapezoid looking one, except it's kind of curved right there, right? We can move this around and see what happens. We can move the slice. Ooh, got some cool shapes there. We can make our, let's see, shape bigger or smaller. So anyways, it just kind of helps us visualize what all the different shapes we could come up with when we do the cross-section of a cylinder. So, if I pose this question to you, what can result when a plane intersects a cylinder? What can and what can't? Oh, good job, Adriel. What do you think?